back to another episode of the Blue Castle Podcast. I'm your host, Molly.
And I'm your other host, Sarah.
And as per usual, we're going to be talking through the magic of Disney and our love of Disney. But this week, there might be a little more metaphorical pep in our step because we are T-minus, 3 days now until we pack our bags, or I guess hopefully we've already had our bags packed, but to T-minus 3 days until we all head to the Magic Kingdom.
So exciting. We all, meaning Molly and myself, Sarah, and then our parents, Kelly and Charlie. They're coming along for the ride. We tend to rope them into these Disney things, and I think they like it. It's probably not like what they would have picked, but I think they're growing to love Disney a little bit more.
I know they like it, and I don't know if they just feed off of our love of it, and I think that's part of it. Like, parents love to see their kids happy, so like maybe it's just they see our joy and that brings them joy. But I mean, no one's immune to the love and magic that you feel in your heart at Disney World, right?
Yeah, no one except the devil himself. Even he loves Mickey's Not So Scary.
Oh, geez.
Anyway.
Okay.
Well, I keep thinking about Halloween, and I'm like, yeah, nobody could love Disney except. Anyway. Okay, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk about all of the plans we have for our upcoming trip, and it will probably be pretty brief because we don't have like tons of detailed plans for this trip, but we'll probably have a pretty extensive post-trip episode. So this episode may be a little short, and then next week tune back in because I'm guessing that one will be a little bit of extra long.
And if you think that you're going to be like, oh, now I know when they're leaving for their trip, I'm going to rob them. No, we're not going to release this till after we get back.
Yeah, because I think people were really plotting and scheming, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. It's possible. It's possible, but long shot. Okay, so I'm going to kick us off with talking about just a few things we did prior to this trip. So some of the things we had to do, we obviously booked the cruise like forever ago. When was that? Like over a year ago?
Yeah, we had like 520 days or something to go when we first booked the cruise. So like, yeah, like close to a year and a half.
Yeah, which is wild, but that's how you get the best price. We've talked about that. If you want to go check out our How We Save Money for our Disney trips episode, that was one of our tips. And then, so we booked the cruise. We decided to tag on a little bit of extra magic at the front end of our trip. So we added a Walt Disney World stop. We're leaving from Fort Lauderdale for our cruise. So Orlando's just a few hours away. So we booked that. We booked some dining. We'll talk about that. We had to do the cruise check-in. Well, Molly did it because I was away.
Yeah.
And
this is really a trip that like grew into like a Frankenstein situation where originally it was just we booked our stateroom, and then we asked our parents if they wanted to go. Okay, so then they got a stateroom on the cruise, and then I can't just let a good thing be, so I suggested expanding the trip not once but twice.
And she got rejected the second time.
No, I didn't. You guys got rejected the third time.
Yeah, that's true. No, I think
we had it on a few days the first time at my suggestion, using DVC rental store, and we decided on the Wilderness Lodge would be deluxe, and then we extended it one more time to just give us one more full day at Disney by doing a night at All Star Sports.
Yeah. Yep. And then some of the other things we did beforehand, we got some special bookings on the cruise. Then later we got to do some more special bookings that we'll talk about on that. And then I mentioned dining reservations. We also have Disney, I almost said Genie Plus, Lightning Lane, single pass and multi-pass for our one park day. So we'll get into that. But there were so many steps of the process of planning for this one. And it was just, I don't know, the Frankenstein of it all made it really it wasn't complicated, but it's a lot to keep track of, especially as like, you know, Genie Plus turned into Lightning Lane. All of that stuff was new and different, and the cruise is entirely new for us. So Lots of steps along the way, but
I
we
will
figured it
say,
out.
if you book super far in advance, you save money, but we probably spent whatever money we saved by we spent it on all these trip extensions and things that we've added on. We just can't help ourselves, but that's what we want out of our vacation. We want to be able to leave no stone unturned and feel like we really had a good experience across the board in a lot of ways. So I'm not upset about the ways that it grew.
Yeah, it grew in like duration and obviously experiences, but we didn't pack in a bunch of like extra bells and whistles. Like we did the cruise at pretty affordably for what you can get basically. So anyway, okay, let's get into day 0. So this is our travel day where we're really not going to get a whole lot of Disney magic, so we're not calling it a full on day 1. Day 0,
Like I'm still working over half a day before my flight out. So in my mind, I still have to treat day 0 as like a non-Disney day because I have to get through work and all of that.
yeah, no, same. I have a full work day because I live in Dallas, so I'm a lot closer, and I have a nonstop flight, whereas Molly has a layover and
I have
she's
a
farther.
nonstop. It's just
it's just
like
farther.
a 4.5 hour flight. It's a pretty long one, actually.
Yeah. Yep. So that'll be a fun time. I think we're doing a little bit of a staggered landing. I don't know the order. It's on our little Trello board of organization, but we'll all be getting in fairly late to MCO, Orlando International Airport, and we are staying at All Star Sports because it is affordable, and we wanted all of Friday. Well, Molly wanted all of Friday.
Well, yeah, originally on Friday, Sarah was going to land early in the morning, and then I was going to land sometime in the afternoon, and my parents were going to land around the same time as me or maybe before me. It was like we were all going to land 4 hours apart from each other. So Sarah was going to get basically a full day, and then none of the rest of us would. I already have that Friday off from work. So my mind jumped to, can I leave Thursday night? And I was really FOMO because I knew Sarah was going to get there in the morning, and I was going to be sad if I missed out on a good day of exploring Disney World. And we ended up, girl math, saving money because we all got to rebook our flights. And I think my mom and dad saved a lot of money. It was a much cheaper flight. And I saved a little money, and it was a cheaper flight. And our room only was like $50 a person, split 4 ways. So not bad.
Not bad. I don't think I saved any money, but I definitely didn't lose much. So it worked out just fine. And we get to experience one night at All Star Sports. So hopefully we all get some good sleep. We'll probably sleep in a little bit the next day since we'll have gotten in so late.
Not to be like rude against All Star Sports, but based on the things I've heard about it, I would have a hard time booking All Star Sports as like my main resort for a trip. So this is kind of perfect. We're going to be there past quiet hours, and it's literally just a place to rest our heads, but we will have the experience of staying there without banking a whole trip on hoping that there's not a cheer competition or something to clog the buses and to keep us awake at night.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, I'm guessing we're going to be like as far as you could possibly walk from the main area just because we'll be getting in so late. They'll have probably given out all of the good locations, but that's fine. Who cares? We'll be running on adrenaline and magic. Okay,
Slay.
so slay. Day 1 is our first true day at Walt Disney World, and it's going to be magical. So we're moving to Boulder Ridge at Wilderness Lodge, which is a Disney Vacation Club area of Wilderness Lodge. We've talked about it in previous episodes. Very excited about it. We've never stayed there either. So this will be 2 new resorts for us. I mean, my parents and I have stayed at All Star Music, but never sports. But anyway, so we'll be moving over. That means we'll have to check out by 11. I'm sure at least most of us, my dad maybe not, but most of us will be up well before then. Maybe have gotten some breakfast at the quick service at All Star Sports. If we're like really ambitious, we may, pop around somewhere else to get breakfast. But I kind of doubt it, just knowing that if my dad's going to be sleeping still, we probably won't go too far without him. But then, yeah, I'm guessing what we'll do is just have to pack up. We'll bring our bags to Bell Services, so they'll transfer them for us, which is super nice, to Wilderness Lodge. And then I don't know about you, Molly, but I would be game to just like take the bus to Magic Kingdom and take the boat straight to Wilderness Lodge. And even though we probably won't be able to check in yet, I think we could get, an early lunch, light lunch, or maybe we're still full from breakfast, whatever.
It
But
could
just
be
hang
a
out.
hack to pack our swimsuits in
Yeah,
like a backpack or something because we should have
exactly.
pool access even before we can officially check in. And that would be perfect to just chill by the pool until our room is ready. And then they say, oh, wait, I can't remember. Did we have to, when we used the Bell services, did they bring our luggage to the front or did they bring it all the way to our room?
To our room.
Oh, that's even nicer. So we could literally be chilling at the pool, find out our room is ready, walk straight there.
Yeah, I think you have to well, I don't know. The one time we've done that, we had to call them twice to get it brought to our room. And that is normal as like part of the service. And then usually you tip whoever brings your bags, but we could pick them up too. I think we could do it either way.
We'll probably be at the main pool anyway, which is right by, I think Bell Services, but I don't really know how all this works. I would assume we're going to be chilling by the main pool, but the main pool might be very far from our room at Boulder Ridge.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be that far. No, I don't think.
Still walkable, yeah.
But definitely walkable. The whole place is walkable, but that's not that far. It just depends on what we want to do that day because we don't have to be close to our room regardless. But yeah, you exactly, like that's what I literally put on our board is like a picture of the fun pool, the big, party pool at Wilderness Lodge. And I anticipate that is our big like Wilderness Lodge hangout day. And it will have been a late night. And so even if we did sleep in, we may be like wanting a slow, fun day, slow, chill day anyway. But then the big headliner of this day is the Hoop-Dee-Doo review.
Yeehaw!
I don't fully know what to expect for this. I know there's a lot of hype around it. I think it's a fun time. I think my dad will love it.
Will we walk there or are there shuttles?
No.
Because I know it's at Fort Wilderness and we're at Wilderness Lodge, which are close but not the same.
Right. They're not the same. You can't walk from one of those to the other. So we'll probably take a bus. I think the other option would be if there's a boat that's doing like a triangle between Wilderness Lodge, Fort Wilderness, and Magic Kingdom. Maybe we could
be a straight
do
shot
that
on a boat. That'd be nice.
Yeah. So we'll just have to kind of ask cast members what the best way to do that would be. But I think the tip is just to leave really early because transportation to get there, though they are close together, isn't quite as direct as you might think. And we don't want to miss it.
We have one other thing on the day that we didn't talk about. What? Before that, we have a Whispering Canyon lunch reservation.
Well, we do have that reservation, but I was supposed to cancel it. And then I got spooked and decided to leave it because I wasn't sure. But we have another Whispering Canyon reservation on Sunday morning for breakfast. And we have another dining reservation later that day. So I wasn't sure because I thought it depends on how we are for breakfast, like when we wake up and stuff like that.
I would say go ahead and cancel it because I think that the one on Sunday was more intentionally spaced out looking at the times because we have a 10 a.m. Whispering Canyon breakfast and a 5:10 p.m. dinner booked on Sunday. And that's a better spacing out of two hearty meals than the reservations we have on Friday with Hoop-Dee-Doo Revue. That's my opinion.
No, that's literally what your past self told me too. But I just didn't want to cancel Whispering Canyon. I don't know why. I just felt like leaving it. But I do think I should probably cancel it because I don't want to hold on to that.
You don't want to be charged.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Because Whispering Canyon also would probably be no problem to get a walk up almost all the time. So I just because it's kind of out of the way for people who don't stay at that resort. It does have a good reputation for food. It's just not the most convenient for people who aren't staying there. So Anyway, yeah, Hoop-Dee-Doo Revue at 6:15 p.m. is our show time / dinner. So it is dining, like all you care to enjoy family style, I believe, of a plethora of foods that we'll tell you about in our post-trip episode. And, you know, a
I think it's all
show.
you care to drink too. Like I
Oh,
think there's
yeah.
some alcoholic drinks. I am pretty sure they don't advertise it as all you care to drink because that could be messy, and I'm pretty sure they can cut you off whenever they see that you're getting a little too rowdy at their Hoop-Dee-Doo review. But I
Oh, I'm
think
sure.
that's one of the enticing things. There's like sangria and beer and stuff that you can get um, basically unlimited within your means, I guess. Maybe I'll fact check myself in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's part of the appeal, at least from what I've seen from Disney College Program attendees. It's expensive, but they usually, most of the DCP people like to do that at least one time, and it's the alcohol that's the intrigue for them. But
And
we
you
have
have
to
to
be
prepay the whole meal for everyone at
Mhm.
Hoop-Dee-Doo. I think you get it refunded if you cancel within whatever period of time, but like just be prepared that you're going to have to put 50, 60, I can't remember how much it is, dollars per person down immediately.
Yeah, which it's expensive, but keep in mind it's also a show. Like it's a live show with performers and stuff. So it's more than just paying for your food. But
I'm
that's
very
so
excited.
yeah, it's a pretty good deal honestly for what you're getting, in my opinion, from what we can tell. We'll let you know after. So day 2 is we can't go too hard at Hoop-Dee-Doo. Molly and Dad are our only alcohol
Oh my
partakers.
gosh.
Not
I'm
alcoholics.
not.
You're the only ones that are going to partake of the beverages, but all of us need to be careful not to overdo it and make ourselves sick because we are going to rope drop Magic Kingdom,
Whoop, whoop.
and we're going to probably take the boat, maybe take the buses depending on weather, and making we want to get there early, like rope drop front of the line, not last people to get there before rope drop kind of thing. So
I
we
anticipate rope drop will be especially intense because this will be the first Saturday, first weekend day that Tron is not a virtual queue. It is an in-person queue. So that just means you stand in line the traditional way versus in the past you had to like join this virtual queue and hope that you got a boarding group and all this silly stuff. And if you didn't check in perfectly on time, you might not get to ride Tron that day. Like you couldn't even stand in line. They wouldn't let you. But now I think Rope Drop's going to be pretty crazy because they just announced that Tron is now regular standby queue.
But that could work to our advantage if we decide not to rope drop Tron, because we do have I almost said individual attraction selection. We do have a single pass lightning lane for it, and it's kind of in the morning, but we have heard from good authority that at least a month or so ago, anytime you buy a single pass lightning lane, you can use it anytime after your start time. So for us, it says 9:35 to 10:35 a.m., but they don't advertise that it works throughout the whole day. And I think it'd be cool to ride at night. We don't have to. I won't be the end of the world if we don't. But
The problem with in my mind is that our time slot is 9:35 to 10:35 a.m. So even if there's a 5-hour grace period or something, like I would just hate to get up to the front and be like, ready to go on Tron.
yeah,
And they say, no, it's a 5-hour grace period and you've messed it up.
the other thing that we've done once before and it didn't work out so great, but this ride isn't known for breaking down as much, knock on wood, is we could go get in line right before the park closes, like, and for sure get it at after dark, and that would really extend our park day because the queue for that is probably going to be long all day for standby. So that's an idea. We could close down the park with our second ride on and just go during our normal lightning lane time, in addition to standby later in the day.
You can also change your time slot if you're confident you want to move your time. Like right now, I'm at on the screen where there's an option to change it. And right now, if we were to rebook our individual lightning lane, the earliest time would be 2:55 p.m. to 3:55 p.m. So maybe we will end up rebooking it if the cast member says that that's a wise decision to just rebook it.
Yeah. I'm good with whatever. Right now, our plan for the day as far as location of our lightning lanes. So we also got the multi-pass option, which means we can book 2 rides for that are not single pass rides, one in a tier 1 or like, I don't know, fancier rides, and one that's like slightly less fancy rides. So we have a
I think you mean
9
3, right? We can book 3.
Oh, 3. You're right.
Yeah, we've got 3 booked.
Wow. That's
Today.
actually yeah, I kind of forgot. Okay, I'm confusing myself. So yeah, we have a 9:10 a.m. Haunted Mansion, which actually I thought was very fitting. It probably won't be our first ride because we will rope drop something else. But I like that this is like an earlier ride of the day, our first lightning lane, setting the tone for the spooky season because we kind of tend to resist it in that Molly and I, neither of us are super spooky season people. But I think this trip, we're just going to full send, at least I am going to pretend like it's like my favorite season. I'm going to embrace it to the max because that's just more fun. So we have that, which is like far, if you're looking on a map, it's like far top left of your map. And then we have the single pass for Tron, which is at 9:35, and that's like the bottom right of your map. So this is a long walk, which is where we start talking about rescheduling maybe that single pass. And
maybe, but we have really good rides booked. It might be it's going to be a walking heavy day, but we also have to remember we're only doing one park day. So it's not like there's anything to keep our legs especially fresh for. The day after this is going to be a chill day. So if we just want to get our miles in, so be it.
yeah, well, the other thing I'm thinking with that logistically is like the park will probably still not be at its peak busyness at 9:35. So do we want to go use our lightning lane that we paid extra for when it's a good time to be riding other things with lower wait times, or do we want to save that lightning lane for a time of day that everything else is the longest
Yeah,
waits?
I was wondering that too. I just don't know like what the best strategy is for this new system. And we're kind of learning as we go where Genie Plus was the old system to skip the line that you would have to pay for, and we kind of knew the tips and tricks of it. I do think this fast pass system makes more sense, or whatever it's called now, the
Single pass. I mean, multi pass.
multi-pass
Lightning
lightning lane
lanes.
thing. I think that overall it's a system that makes more sense, but I'm just not as confident on what like the best game to play is with the system.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff. The key to me that I kept hearing over and over is book them as early as you can get them. If you can shift them left, do it. And that ultimately, like, there's no benefit to waiting and like saving something up for later. Just go ahead and use it now and keep refreshing to get earlier and earlier times on things that are further out than you want. So like we can get there to the park, and we have our next ride that we haven't talked about yet is 10:10 a.m. Pirates of the Caribbean. We could keep refreshing that and potentially get to shift that earlier. And just that means you ultimately get to take advantage of more, like sooner you get to book like your next lightning lane.
Or like on the off chance that Pirates had a really low line just in the standby queue, I think we could cancel our lightning lane and see if we could get like Jungle Cruise around the same time or whatever. I think there are ways to game it if there is just like a 5-minute standby, because I know that it's best to have your lightning lanes as early as possible, but I have a hard time using a lightning lane when the line is really short.
Yeah. No,
It's
it's
basically
not.
a walk on. Why would I waste this right now? Cancel it, get something else.
Yeah, agree. And then okay, so our next lightning lane is at 11:50. It's Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and that's previously known as Splash Mountain. You can't see Molly. She is very excited. She did the
I loved
happy
Splash
face.
Mountain, even though I'd never seen the movie, and Disney really for reasons that are understandable, kept the movie from being able to be consumed by people that Splash Mountain was affiliated with. But I love a good flume water drop ride, and I love Princess and the Frog. This is going to be so cute. I'm very excited. I've been trying to avoid watching any spoilers.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have heard only good things. Like I'm excited to hear the music. I'm excited to smell the smell again. I honestly don't think I've been on Splash Mountain like that many times in my life. Like, yes, we have a podcast all about going to Disney World, but I would guess I've gone on Splash Mountain 5 times in my life.
Yeah.
And I like don't have I remember the song, I remember certain scenes, I remember like the vibes, but I'm not one of those people who I'm like I know every little detail of it. So I don't know why I brought that up other than to say like
You know what you like and you know you're going to like it.
I know well yeah, and I guess I'm just saying like I don't know like if I'm going to be able to be like, "Oh, it smelled a little different here," or like that part was so different than it was before or whatever. Like I don't remember the layout of the scenes or even like the storytelling.
Yeah.
I remember it was really like you're gonna die. Like really dark, like surprisingly dark right before you get like thematically dark right before you get to the drop. And like where kids would get like really spooked, like, oh my gosh, like why are we still moving forward if it says like don't go this way, you're about to die. So anyway,
I
I
do
think
think
it's a
you're going
lot
to
more
remember the
positive.
smell. Like,
I hope so.
I think that smells have a way of like nesting in your memory. And I've heard that smell is the strongest memory attached set thing, like sense that we have. I think that when we smell it, we're going to know if it smells the same or different, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. All right. The last major plan of this day, obviously we're going to like go hard. This is our only park day. This is a Magic Kingdom day. We may take a break midday depending on how we feel, depending on how hot it is. We're at just a boat ride away, so it would be very convenient to do that. But we do have a 1:30 p.m. lunch reservation at Skipper Canteen.
And I've heard good
And
things. I don't really know what they serve. I know I've heard a podcast talk about it. I'm excited to try it. I think that this is one that I'm not going to want to cancel.
I agree. And I think that the concept of having a sit down dining in the middle of the day in a hot place where you're, I don't know, just being served and having a nice, casual, comfortable meal sounds good. It says on here the food is African, Asian, Latin, casual dining. So it's definitely eclectic, which makes
Just
sense.
like most of the populated continents.
Well, literally, but the concept of Jungle Cruise is kind of like world travelers, like it's an eclectic. I think it's like Trader Sam's adjacent, and he's known for like being a traveler of the world, collecting different items. So it makes sense. I think the waiters there are kind of like the skippers on the Jungle Cruise, so they're jokey and have lots of puns and stuff. So that should be fun too.
It's not cheap. I'm looking at it right now, and like for entrees at lunch, we're ranging from $23 for a vegetarian option up to $38 for like a steak. So just be prepared.
Yeah.
She said to herself.
We might be trying some vegetarian things this meal.
Or splitting. I mean, we are such snackers at Disney anyway that I could see us, the four of us, splitting like 2 meals maybe, and then getting an appetizer. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we might. We could do that and like also get a dessert or something too. I think that they might be known for a dessert. I don't know. We'll do our research like day of to make sure we're not missing the super popular things.
One more thing that we might want to do on our off day before the park day is I've been seeing a lot on TikTok about doing the DVC pitch, letting people pitch to you about Disney Vacation Club. And I have been seeing, I don't know if it's true or not, but they've been giving like $100 to $200 gift cards per person who attends, Disney gift cards. So if you and I went and we said we were one group, and then mom and dad said they went as a separate group also interested, we could maybe get $400 of free Disney stuff. And I will not say that I'm uninterested in DVC. I don't think now's the time for me, but I'm not like just wanting to do it for the money, but it is something that could get me in the door. We've talked about doing it before, even when we didn't know about that perk.
No, I mean, it's something that like I would love to have an excuse to like I would love for it to be financially like logical for me to do that. I don't think I'm at a point in my life where I go enough for that to be true. But if I am close to getting to that point, like the sooner you buy, the better kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like
and they're also the people that could give you the numbers straight up so that you could figure out what is that break even point. Will it ever make sense for you? And I think that they would have information that we're interested in hearing. Maybe not for today or for the next 5 years, but maybe in 10 years.
yeah,
You know?
and I think they would be happy to plant that seed in our in our heads. I think that would be a win for them because it could pay off. We don't
But
know.
I'm just thinking we have like 2 days on either side of our park day where we have nothing really that planned. So might as well go hear about something we're interested in and potentially get a good amount of like our food paid for.
Yeah, and we might get like tours of some of the DVC
I think you do.
rooms and stuff. So
It'd be
that
awesome.
could be cool. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We can consider it. Okay, so that
Sorry,
is
distraction, but it was just looking at how expensive that was, and then I thought, ooh, we can make it free.
we could. Okay, so that was our day 1, or sorry, day 2. That was day 2, Saturday. So now we're at Sunday. This is our second chill day. So by chill, I mean no park reservations. We're just hanging out. So actually we do have some dining reservations and we can be flexible with these too, but like we mentioned before, we have our Whispering Canyon brunch reservation. Do you know what time that is? Let's see.
I had it on the app. I love this one personally because Whispering Canyons is at, I would say Whispering Canyons. I think it's just singular.
It's singular. It's at 10:05. So this is a good opportunity to sleep in after probably a late night at Magic Kingdom, especially if we get in the standby line for Tron as the park is closing.
And this is perfect because it's in our resort. 10 o'clock. That's our first thing planned. For me, Sarah, and my mom, that'll be no problem. For our dad, he might be kicking us a little bit. That 10 o'clock is a little early for him, but
He'll be fine.
we'll all be fine. He'll be fine. He'll sleep when he's home.
Exactly. And I like it because like I will probably not sleep that late and I won't want to because I'll want to be doing things. So I can still, go with my mom down to the quick service Roaring Fork and get, my s'mores latte or whatever. And we can walk around the resort, see what things we want to see. We could even take the boat and the monorail over to the Contemporary just for fun. If we're up early enough, we could do those things before brunch.
But no pressure. That's
no
the beauty
pressure.
of it.
We could sleep in if we want to sleep in. And then really the rest of the day is kind of the world is our oyster. Oyster. Wow, that's a hard word.
Sarah's learning to talk. English is her 5th language. She's so impressive.
I wish. I need to learn another language, actually.
Go to Epcot. They'll teach you so many.
Yeah. Bonjour. But anyway, yeah. So this day is mostly free. We'll probably do some resort hopping around the monorail loop is my guess. We could also go to Disney
monorail
Springs.
Looped out. I could see us doing the monorail loop on our first day, potentially. On day 1. So I could also see us going, Disney Springs, maybe go to the boardwalk, Beaches and Cream. I could see us, going a little further out. I don't think Mom and Dad have been to Beaches and Cream, have they?
I don't know, but I just had the thought. I was like, oh, we could take the Epcot monorail to Epcot and then do the Epcot resorts. No, you can't do that. I always think you can do that and you can't because it drops you off at the front of Epcot and you can't get from the front entrance to the side entrance unless you can go through Epcot. So unless I
don't have a park ticket.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not worth $100-something per person to have that shortcut.
It would work out great if you were an annual pass holder. That would be fine because then you could just take a beautiful little stroll through Epcot to get over there. But no, so we would have to take the bus, which is fine. We're bus stands.
We're not above
the bus.
Even though we are staying deluxe near the monorail loop.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll kind of play it by ear this day. The one other reservation we have is one that we have I kind of booked it just because I saw it was available, and I was like, this is hard to get. And so I'm just going to book it. And then Molly's like, no, we're definitely keeping that. And it's Ohana at the Polynesian, which is an all you
Yes.
care to enjoy. Like, I don't know how would you describe it? It's kind of like Brazilian steakhouse, but make it
It's like Polynesian, Hawaiian, I think steakhouse-ish. There's like a lot of Asian inspired things because of the Polynesian. Sarah and I have eaten there for breakfast, but I will say it was really standard breakfast. Like it was good, very enjoyable, but like Mickey waffles, eggs, sausage, nothing to write home about. I think they had some like yummy bread at the time, like a bread pudding type thing, but for dinner, I think it's a lot more unique. And I think that this is a non-negotiable for me because I love the vibes of the Poly. This is a great excuse to get us in there and immerse us in the vibe. But that's really our last plan before our trip shifts into cruise mode.
Yeah, I will say one other thing. We are going on a non Mickey's Not So Scary day to Magic Kingdom. And I think either Sunday or we're going on a Saturday. And so Sunday or Friday are the other days we'll be in that area, but we won't be going to that park. And I think one or both of those days are Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party days. So there's a chance we can watch the Halloween fireworks from a monorail resort or something, just to try see something different and like hear the music and see the fireworks. We probably won't get to see any projections unless we go to the contemporary view that we could see some projections. But that's just an idea of something else if we are willing to stay up that late. But
that's a great idea. Love that.
Yeah, that's a thought.
After that, we go to sleep. Then oh my gosh, we're 37 minutes in and we're not even to the cruise yet, which is the whole reason we are going on this trip.
Yeah, but there's way less planned on the cruise. There's less.
That's true. That's true. We don't know what to expect so much, but we're going to wake up the next morning and get on what's called the Bright Line. And it's basically like a rapid train that runs up and down Florida. It's pretty new. Seen pretty good things about it. Not too sketch, not too... I don't know. I've just seen really good things about it. And we're going to take it from near the Orlando airport all the way down to right next to the Fort Lauderdale airport. It will be a little bit of an Uber or Lyft to get onto the Orlando side, but the Fort Lauderdale one, from what I can see, is like a 5 to 10 minute drive.
Yeah,
to
super convenient.
To the cruise port. So we'll let you know how that is. That should be whatever. Perfectly fine. Right now, our plan in my head is we should be getting to the cruise port around, I think, noon, and our boarding time's like 12:30, which could be perfect because I saw right across the street there is a wine store, and Disney Cruise Line lets every person 21 and up take either a 6-pack of standard beers or hard seltzers, or 2 bottles of wine, like 2 standard bottles of wine. So I could definitely see us popping in there and me and my dad both getting a bottle or 2 to enjoy on the cruise.
So fun. And really, we don't have anything planned for this day besides obviously taking the Bright Line and then getting on the cruise. So I think we'll just get on and see what we can see and enjoy it. We don't know, where we're eating yet for dinner. We know that we have the early time slot for dinner. We might switch that to late. Who knows? We're just kind of going with it and feeling it out. And I'm sure we will just be overwhelmed and excited and embraced by the magic.
I think there's a lot of exploring to do on the cruise, just of all the little bits and bobs and fun things to be seen. Before we get on the cruise, I've sent my family a list of movies that are, from what I can tell, very associated with the Disney magic, and Sarah added to a little bit. So I've got some homework to do to watch. Like, I've seen all of the movies except for Fantasia before. So I'm going to watch Fantasia, Tangled, Soul, Cinderella, and Beauty and the Beast. Those are all the ones that have like shows and themed dinners and things like that. So I'm so excited. I just know that there's so many hidden little like details And I want to be able to catch as many of those as possible by brushing up on the content before.
Yeah. Yeah, I added Fantasia only because I've heard things about the animator's palette dinner, but I don't know how much of that storyline is in it. So if that's a long movie, maybe just watch some clips of it. Or I don't know, just depends on how much time we have. But you have some long flight, you might download some things on your Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'm planning on watching some stuff on the flight there. I'm not going to have much free time before we leave, but I will have, probably an hour at the gate before the flight, an hour of the flight, and then I don't think I'm the last person to land at the airport. So
I think I'm the last, yeah. Unless I can get on an earlier flight, but I don't think I'll be able to just with work. And dropping off my dog at the dog sitter and everything. But anyway, yeah, so we've got some homework to do, as in watching some fun movies to refresh ourselves, but not the end of the world if we can't do that before. And we have time potentially on the cruise where we might want to watch some of those things.
This is bananas. I land after you. I land at 11:52 p.m. and you land at 11:35 p.m. even though you leave significantly later. That's okay.
I think your flight must have gotten pushed a little because I thought I was last, but maybe
no.
not.
This is the one that's been on the screenshot. It's fine. It's fine. It's also time zone change. That's really what a lot of it is.
Yeah. All right. So day 2 of the cruise. Day 1 was, I guess, whatever. Day 2 of the cruise is Lighthouse Point. So Disney's Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point, I think is the full name, on the island of Eleuthera. It's in the Bahamas. And this whole section of it, we've talked about it before, is like Disney Central. Like it's all Disney. It's not like some cruise stops that you're just going to the city and there are like some Disney excursions, but no, this whole place was designed and built by Disney with a lot of just kind of collaboration with the locals of the island. And so I think it's going to be really cool. The guy who was kind of the head Imagineer of Animal Kingdom, I'm blanking on his name. Joe
Rohde?
Maybe, yeah, that sounds right. He's very kind of eclectic, well-traveled guy, but he was the one who kind of headed up Lighthouse Point. So I think it'll be really cool to see. We don't have anything booked or anything like that, but I personally want to, whatever the cruise equivalent of rope dropping, getting onto Lighthouse or Lookout Key, Lighthouse Point, whatever, I want to do that here because I want to try to experience it the calmest time of day, if possible, kind of get there before it's too hectic. But that's my goal. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll see.
We will see. I don't really know much about Lighthouse Point because I've been actively avoiding spoilers, scrolling past everything related to Lighthouse Point and TikTok. But I think the agenda is just Lighthouse Point for as long as we want and then back to the cruise. And I plan on eating a lot of frozen Mickey bars, the ice cream bars, and ice cream, and yeah.
And ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream and ice cream. That's what I'm planning on doing. It's a great plan.
Yeah, I will say, I don't know, Molly, if you heard anything about at the beginning of Lighthouse Point, there were issues. There were issues with flies, and there are no longer issues with flies.
Oh, good. They worked out the kinks. So that's nice.
That's all I'll say to you is like the things that people complained about the most have been worked out. So that's very exciting for us. I am glad that we booked this knowing it would be an earlier sailing of this new location, but not the earliest. There have been plenty of weeks and a few months at this point that will have gone by for them to work out some of those early kinks.
I've also heard that the locations when you get off the boat are a lot more enjoyable when you're on a smaller ship, especially Castaway Cay and I assume also Lighthouse Point, because they're all designed to be able to satisfy the capacity of their larger ships. And we're on the Disney Magic, which is the oldest and smallest ship by quite a bit, I believe, compared to the new ones. So I expect we'll have plenty of room to stretch our legs and explore.
Yep. Agree. And I haven't been to a beach in a long time, so that'll be fun. Okay. Day 3 is Nassau.
We actually have quite a few things planned this day, none of which are actually Nassau. Maybe if we're feeling bold or we just want to pop off the ship a little bit to just look around.
Pop off. Yeah.
We might go on a little jaunt just to look around Nassau, but that's not really like the biggest deal to us. So sue us. I've heard of some sketchy things, but I don't know. We'll see. And then the big things that we have planned for the day, I guess it's really just one. We have a royal gathering booked, which is when you get to meet all the princesses all at once. It's kind of silly. I think it's like 5 princesses or something. It's booked for all 4 of us. It's free, but it does fill up fast. So the same day that you book, or the same day that it opens up to check into your cruise, so does the royal gathering, like at the exact same minute. It's kind of hectic, but we're looking forward to it. I mean, we might love it, we might not. We don't usually do princess or any sort of meet and greets, but why not? It's like 5 of them all at once. Normally you'd have to wait so much time to meet all the princesses.
Yeah. I think we'll just want to come up with something to say to them, or like, you know, because like it's just awkward when you're like, hi, like you're talking to someone who's fully the character, that, you know, you're talking to Cinderella, you're talking to Tiana. So like being
We
familiar.
could ask Cinderella if she likes my shoes, because she's always losing hers,
Yeah.
or like,
It's like,
whatever.
oh, I love that you have both your shoes on. Good for you, girl. Like that
Girl,
kind
you
of thing.
always losing a shoe, but you got them both on today.
Right. Like I feel like it could be so fun if we're just like comfortable and like thinking of things. So maybe we'll be brainstorming throughout our trip to be prepared. But we also don't know what princesses it's going to be, because I think there are some different options. I think Cinderella's kind of consistent.
She's just gonna sit. We're gonna go into a full panic when we're like, "It's Moana. It's not Jasmine. It's Moana." What do we say to her? We planned for Jasmine.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But I think we know enough, and there's always Google. Well, I don't know if we'll have Wi-Fi. Anyway, so maybe
we're
we'll
smart people. We'll figure out how to talk to someone. It's fine.
I also think we'll have to, I don't know, I was going to say we'll have to tell our parents to help us out and get engaged, but you never know what dad's going to say if we encourage him to get involved. So we'll see. But yeah, that's the only other really big plan. And then obviously we have dinner at some point.
We're just doing the standard rotational dining every night. That's what comes with your booking. There are things you can opt up for to pay a little more and get a nicer dinner, but this time we're just doing as she comes cruise. I mean, there are a few things we paid some money for. We haven't gotten to any of those yet, but for the most part, we're trying to just stick with the basics of what is free.
Yep. And there are shows too in the evening. So I don't know anything about the shows, literally at all. I can't even think of what any
Tangled
of the themes
is one of them. I looked them up today. That's one of the reasons I suggested Tangled. They also have a Tangled themed dinner. There's something called like Twice Charmed, which is like a new modern retelling of Cinderella, and I think there's a Beauty and the Beast one, I think.
Okay. Well, that sounds lovely. So we'll do one of those on this day too. So day 4 of our cruise is our day at sea. So this is a day, I mean, I think day 3 and day 4 will probably feel very similar to us, because they're both kind of just open days, where one hopefully is a little bit lighter crowds because of people leaving for excursions at Nassau, but and we may pop out for a little bit. But this one is mostly just a free day. We have a couple things booked. I'm going to cancel my thing that's booked. I already know.
Yeah, Sarah had a what was it? A deep dive with a psychologist booked. Just kidding.
That would be like the most expensive version of a psychologist appointment you could possibly get, like a Disney upcharge on an already crazy expensive thing. No, I was gonna get my hair cut on the Disney Magic, and then I started looking at it and I was like, this is gonna be a really expensive haircut, and I just got my haircut this past weekend instead. So I think that's fine. And I was going to keep it in case I wanted to, you know, get a blowout, or, you know, have them do my makeup or something. But all of that stuff is just so expensive, and I don't really care that much about any of that stuff. So canceling it.
I imagine on this day we're going to start off the day as a little family group, maybe get some breakfast or maybe get room service delivered to our room because that comes for free with the cruise. Just be generous with tips if you use that kind of stuff. But the first thing we actually have planned is called Stem to Stern wine tasting. And it's for me and my dad. We're the only two people who would partake of something like that. But it's $50 a person. I've heard really good things. It's at 11 a.m., which is significantly earlier than I would usually be drinking wine. But hey, it's vacation.
When in Bahamas or
Yeah,
the middle of the ocean.
I imagine I'll have a good debrief on that afterwards. That I don't really know what to expect. I've never done a wine tasting like that before. I think there's like a sommelier who explains all the different wines, and you try all different kinds. I think that'll be fun. So I'm looking forward to that.
Very cool. Sounds interesting. And I booked that for Molly. Somehow I magically got it. I might have stolen it from her.
Yeah,
but,
it said there was one left, like once or two slots left in this wine tasting, and as I went to book it, it was like, it's taken, and I was so disappointed. And then you immediately texted me, I booked you and Dad a wine tasting.
Well, and I was just kind of casually flipping through it because I was kind of like done booking the main thing we were trying to book, and I was just seeing what else was out there, and I was like, oh, Molly and Dad might want this. And
things fill up fast, I will say, because I was really annoyed. It was in the middle of the workday that all these things opened up for bookings, and I had meetings from 5 a.m. till like 10 a.m. and that's when all the good things got taken.
Yeah, you say middle of the day but for you it was mountain time, and it was still in the morning, but it was for middle of your workday.
It was what I'm saying is it interfered directly with all of the things that I could not be on my phone and booking. Anyway, it was fine. Sarah got it for me. Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome. The next thing that we have booked is my mom's massage, which is a birthday present from the whole fam because it's pricey. So we all contributed a little bit to that. So hopefully it is a very magical and wonderful experience for her. Mm-hmm. We'll get some feedback from her to share with you all on how she felt about that experience.
And unfortunately, that is really the last thing that we have planned on our last day at sea. Then we'll have dinner wherever rotational dining says we're supposed to have it, and then the next morning we wake up and we get off the ship and go back home. I'm already sad about it, and the trip hasn't even started.
We can't be that way. We can't. No, but there is a pirate. I think there's a pirate night on that last night, but I don't know how that works with dining because I don't know. We'll figure it out. But there's a pirates night. I have no outfit plans yet for that, so I'll just need to find something neutral. I hear we get like a bandana of some sort to kind of jazz up our
Maybe
outfits.
I could just like do an order of eye patches from Amazon and call that good. Eye patch and a bandana, and then oh my goodness, we're pirates.
Yeah, that might be good. I also have a little on. I can't remember why or how, but Amazon just knows things, and it recommended a Captain Hook little plushie for me, and it was like significantly discounted. One of those like lightning whatever sales where it was like very cheap for a pretty nice one. And so I have that, and it's like pretty small, so I'm bringing it, and I'll just carry him around on pirate night. Nice, because he's a pirate. So that's I'm
not very into pirates. I wish I was. I think that it's fun that Disney does this, and I get it. You're on a ship on the high seas or whatever, very piratey, but like I am not Pirates of the Caribbean girl. I like the ride. I don't like the movies.
Maybe they'll convince us. Maybe we'll get more into it. We'll be like, oh, now I get it, because we're like on a boat on a ship on the ocean. So maybe it'll like really, course through our veins. We'll get into it. We'll see.
I could buy just a 12-pack of costume pirate eye patches for $7.99.
Why do you need 12?
I'm trying to find a more sensible number. We need 4. There's 4 of us.
We can't always give them away. That could be a magical moment.
That's true. There's also a 62-pack for $13.99. That's crazy.
It's a lot better per item. But anyway, Okay,
What's
that's
a girl
our last.
to do who just wants a couple eye patches?
Maybe you can find something that's like 4 in it, but it has eye patches and something else, like a gold necklace, or I don't know. You know,
Simple pirate accessories.
Yeah, something like that. But really,
We'll see.
that's it for our trip. I mean, we debarkation day is on a Friday, and we'll probably get off the ship ASAP because Molly's flight home is pretty early, I think. I mean, not early, but
it's at like 12:15, which is pretty close to the earliest they'll recommend you get a flight. Originally, it was at 11:30, and that just made me too nervous. So 12:30 it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
and I've heard later. Like, if it works out, it's ideal to have an earlier flight because, like, who wants your vacation to be over and then to just have like 5 hours sitting at an airport or
yeah,
or going around Fort Lauderdale with your luggage.
Yeah, and I could see how it'd be nice to like be able to hang on the ship a little bit longer, but I think the fun vibes are just kind of dialed down at that point. And if Molly's leaving that early, we might all leave that early to split a Uber or Lyft. So we'll see. But that's all we've got. We always think it's going to be a shorter episode, and we're still sitting here at almost an hour. So it is what it is. We're chatty Cathys, we're yappers, whatever what you want to call us. But anything else you want to add, Molly?
I know that I've been talking about how excited I am for this cruise as like my last minute tagline for every episode. So I don't know what I'm going to say after we're done. How sad I am in general.
We'll have to plan something for next year.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing is there are bounce back deals or something like that we'll want to look into probably on our last day before debarkation day to see if we can get a really good deal on like a far out sailing, especially if they're like sailings for a new ship or the Wish, because I'm obsessed with the Wish. And yeah. We'll have to figure that out. We'll let you guys know what we find out and if we, book anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see you later, Castle Dwellers.